The song is about a long distance relationship. And this is something that I wrote when I was in one. Unfortunately, I just find myself in long distance relationships for some reason. So yeah, I was in one, and I really wanted to write something that could talk about everything that I've felt. But I wanted to do it very smartly. So the way the song is written is that, like I said, like surface level, it's a long distance relationship song, right? And you can enjoy it that way. But if you actually look at it, it's actually a girl leaving this guy's house and going back to her own house, which is in a different city under a different sky, Alag Aasmaan. So in the beginning, she says that there's this line, "Ye narm chadaron ki silhouette tujhe bula rahi hai," which is that she's still at the guy's house. And then ye gaadiyon ki daud sa tera bhi dil daudta hai. So she sits in the cab and she's going somewhere. And then she finally reaches the airport, and this is where the guy is with her and says his goodbye. कि एक बार फिर हंस के जरा देख ले इन आंखों में, कैद कर लूं हर वो पल तेरा तेरी ये बातें. And then she sits in the plane, तो तुम उड़े जा रहे ये आसमां में खिड़कियों से देख. And then she finally reaches her house, खाली घर तेरा चाबियों की गूंज ऐसे. So if somebody wants to enjoy it just on the surface level, they can really enjoy it just as a long distance relationship song with tiny, tiny stories. But if you see it as a whole, it's actually a full story, like from start to end. And that's how it has been written. I was really proud of the way it came out.
And it's such an interesting insight. I think everybody goes through long distance relationships.
Yeah.
I've often wondered how long distance relationships differ from the time when I had one, because I was still early internet, so you'd still just have to phone calls and SMSs were a thing. You didn't have the video call
I've been through
opportunities and stuff.
the same things as well.
And I went through a phase, I remember, in my life when I only had long distance relationships as well. And I've always had this reasoning that you have long distance relationships when you are so deep into what you do that it almost becomes something you can manage with work and everything else that you do. Versus if you had a relationship with someone in the same space, it involves a lot more. It actually takes so much more out of you. That's how it was for me, because I would do like 15, 20-day shoot schedules as a producer, and then take like 1 week off to go, or whoever was dating would kind of fly down. But the moment you spoke of, I think is interesting, right? Is the moment of when you're leaving.
Yeah, you're leaving, yeah.
And you often talk about the meeting part.
Yeah.
When someone's kind of coming, that moment, okay, we're spending time together, but there's a certain silence in that moment.
Yeah.
And that shows in the song. Now that you're saying that, I was thinking of that, because it's also that silence which is there saying, you're back to what it was like before you spent time together.
Exactly, yeah.
How do you channel silences into a song?
I'm actually finding it very difficult to do that because my mom also talks about it. So my mom is like really important whenever I'm writing a song. So she's going to crop up a lot in this conversation, because whenever I'm writing, she's always sitting with me and she's helping me out with everything. So, but my mom also tells me something, that whenever I start writing, it's like I'm just constantly just like going on. And even in my songs, like I will not stop that much. One lyric after the other, one lyric after the other, one lyric after the other. So I'm actually trying to figure out silences, honestly. But let's see how that goes. But I'll tell you something about Alag Aasmaan, though.
Yeah.
Like you just said, right, that it's about a person going away, and people talk about meeting, right? But the final paragraph of the song is actually a very hopeful one. The person says that अब अलग आसमां है और है ज़मीं भी कुछ अलग सी, पर मिलोगे जब कभी. So it talks about मिलना वापस. मिलोगे जब कभी तो देखना तभी कि मैं कुछ अलग नहीं. That I will not be different. I'll still be the same, even if we meet after a few years or whatever. Like even if we meet after a few months or whatever it is. So it's a very hopeful song. So it's not.
No, it's definitely hopeful, because it's why I said that your music has this unique ability of making you feel things and channel it the way you want to. It's not telling you what you're supposed to feel.
Yeah.
It's letting you take what you want to feel out of it in that sense. It's almost like you're not shoving it on people. It's not like emo. Be emo with this. You're not doing that to someone.
That's never the case.
Did that make you rethink things? If it did, make sure you check out the full episode.